Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Robert Kelly, a.k.a. The Dude, a.k.a. The King of Zoom. Thanks for checking out the Calta and Kelly YouTube page. We hope you like what we're putting up there. Make sure you go to patreon.com/Robert Kelly and sign up over there, because every week we put a show, an extra show. Friday show, only Patreon. And we also have the J.O. party on Saturday night, only Patreon. That means you, all the fans, get to come into a Zoom and hang out with us and all the other ladybugs. And it's a blast. So we also let you watch all the shows live. YKWD live, all the Calta and Kelly's live, unedited, all go on the Patreon. And you also get the 10-minute extra YKWD every week goes on there, along with Live from the Shed, one-on-ones, Tech Talk with Bobby and Friends. There's so much content up there. And you know what? It's all for what? A price of a cup of coffee. $5 gets you in the door. And you're going to love it. So make sure you go over there, patreon.com/Robert Kelly. And here's another little thing I want you to do. If you like this content we're putting up, subscribe and like. That's it. Just hit the little button, subscribe, so you know when we got a new show out, and then like it so we know you like what we're doing. Okay? That's it. Patreon.com/Robert Kelly. Subscribe and like. Now, enjoy the show.
Are you ready to downsize? At Tiny Homes of Maine, our team works together to design and construct any custom mobile space unique to you, all while working within your budget. Contact us today at tinyhomesofmaine.com. We're committed to you.
Right down from your belly. So get in here, you half a queer. It's time for Calta and Kelly.
That's for you.
What's up, everybody? It's Calta and Kelly with just a good-looking version of the show today. I am Mike Calta. Below me is Mike the Mush, and to my left is a man too handsome to share a screen with the two of us. Your eyebrows are bothering me because you're just. I remember when you used to be a little fat, and it was much easier to handle you.
My brows are popping. That's the only thing I wanted you to notice, so I'm happy you did. That feathers my nuts.
Your brows, you got a little bit of a tan to you. Your hair looks good. Fuck you, Jared.
Listen, man, I'm just enjoying the riches of your state. This is all Florida, baby. I've never been happier.
You're enjoying the things about this state that I hate. I gotta tell you, I love it here. The people are good. The city's good. The fucking heat, though. God damn it. Even today, it was only like a mild 80 something, and I was like, oh, it's getting ready for 10 months of just shit weather. It's awful.
I've heard it gets like, my parents are like, you don't want to be here in the summer. They're like, you are here prime time. It's like, you know that it's cold somewhere else. I know that, like, this is as good as it gets anywhere in the country. And then by the time this mugginess and the rain starts, I'll be on a flight out of, the last flight out of Vietnam type of deal.
You'll be like, I'd rather land in a city that has an 80% chance of getting COVID than live one more second this humid fucking half a desert.
Yeah, man. I'm hitting it. You're right. I'm getting out of this. I'm like one of those people that's just, I'm take. I'm not even adding to the taxes here. I'm just like,
yeah,
you have your
like, you shithead. You're not even helping out you're not helping out the people or nothing.
No, I just came here to mooch off my parents and live very cheaply until the world finds some order. Or at least I can take a walk to get a cup of coffee in New York. Like, that's the thing in New York that everyone's like, it becomes this, like, is New York dead or not? Like, if you can't walk to get a cup of coffee in New York, that is like half of the city for me. Like, that is like what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I really do miss that kind of city atmosphere where I could just walk out of my house and walk to something. I can't do that here at all. And I even thought about walking for exercise. It makes the most sense because you literally have to spend 5 minutes in this disgusting heat to just sweat and sweat and sweat. So I was like, what if I just walk like a mile or two every day? I can go at my own pace, listen to somebody else's bullshit podcast while I do it. And then you go out there and you walk couple of feet, and you're like, fuck this. Dude. I don't even walk my dog anymore. I open the door and I go, pew, go, enjoy.
have a good day. You enjoy the shit.
It's just miserable. For those of you just joining us or don't know, Jared Freid is a very funny comedian. He's been on this show before. He's been on my radio show. He is known by many titles, including the Board Lord, where he is judging your charcuterie boards, which, yeah, I have to tell you, it inspired me a little bit because I follow a couple of charcuterie accounts on Instagram, not for any reason other than I may order from this company one day, like, because I'm not making my own. But now, ever since I met you, I'm like, that doesn't look good. Like, I'm judging other people's boards now. You're rubbed off on me. You made me snooty.
It's the most fun thing to judge because nobody went to college for board making. So it's not like you're like ruining someone's life. Like, there is a little bit of like, they're trying to make a business and, you want to like help out. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a third grade art project that adults are making.
Right. You're folding salami.
Yeah. And putting it in order and finding like things at Trader Joe's that you thought were cute and you thought no one else would see. So to just hammer it. And also, you and I, Mike, we are all experts in eating food at someone else's house.
Yes.
So this is a perspective that we all take very seriously. If I walked into a house and saw some of the garbage that gets posted online, I'd be like, what am I doing here?
Put some fucking effort into it.
Put some effort in. Also have some eyes for your party. Like, a lot of times online, you'll see a lot of people that are like making boards for the likes. And when I see like over like Thanksgiving, Halloween time, there'll be pumpkins on the board. And I'm like, that tells me everything I need to know about you as a person. Yeah. Like, that makes you a person who cares less about your friends than you do about a random connection on Instagram.
That pumpkin's taking up some good fucking meat space right there is what it is.
It could have been meat. It could have been cheese. It could have been veggies. And then I would have known why I hate you in a different way. Yes. You've taken away, you've just, again, your personality is the board. When I see a board, I can tell you everything about the person, how they raise their kids, how their house looks. I know the whole story.
I was very impressed that I got one made for the playoffs, and it didn't look like a football or anything like that. But the person who made it found tiny little Buccaneer flags and put them in there, and I was like, "Oh, you didn't take up any space with the food. It was only like one or two of them." So I was like, "That's a good board." I like that.
You get it because no space taken up, and you added the city flair. You understand what I'm talking about, and it's so interesting. To me, it's a metaphor for like the internet in general. Like, someone will go, "But mine looks good," and it's like, no, you're garbage too. You don't get it. We're living in a world of get it's and don't get it's, and you see it on the board every time.
I appreciated how he had tiny olives carved from the prostitutes.
Yeah, I almost enjoyed
legacy, like no,
little poles, little stripper poles. I almost sent you two pictures today, Jared, and I forgot to send them. One was I was feeding my tortoise. I took a picture of him so you could see it, and like, I know we were talking about it last time we were here, and the other thing, right? That was you, right? Wasn't I talking about it with you?
You had a tortoise.
Maybe it wasn't you. Sorry. No. I remember when you were here, somebody was like, "You had a fucking tortoise in your backyard?" I thought it was you. Well, anyway, The other one was, my wife is making no attempt at making a charcuterie board. So I buy them from this lady who makes them. It happens to live like right in the development across from where I am. So I'll go by and just pick them up every once in a while. You just pull up, she runs them out to your car, and you're like, "Thanks, later."
Perfect.
But then I went in my pantry yesterday, and I have not one, not two, not three, but four large jars of fig jam spread that will never get, like, that's what I'm going to put on a human finger and eat it when it's the last possible thing in the world to eat. So I feel like I can't throw it out, though.
It's too nice to throw out, and this is one of those things that this is a classic charcuterie mistake. Yep. Is that they want to put the fig jam on there, but it really should be a thimble. It shouldn't be taking, if you're putting like, and they want it to be from a nice company, it's got to be in a glass case. It should really be, you should have one jar of fig jam and then a smaller ramekin that you're refilling to have the fig jam on there. So it's like that one, it should be one container that feeds 4 different parties. It's a miscalculation. And again, charcuterie is really a numbers game at that point. You're trying to figure out ratios.
Lou said buy a Lunchable and you're all set.
That's right.
I wonder if we could do that. I wonder if we could buy a Lunchable, buy a couple of Lunchables, just use their ingredients, put on some fig spread and be like, see if anybody notices.
I'm sorry to let you know, but this has been done. If you Google Lunchable charcuterie, so there's a joke online that has been as someone who likes jokes, it drives me crazy to see how many times I've seen it. It's like charcuterie is just adult Lunchables, and then you see different variations on it. Yesterday there was one that popped off, and I get sent, if you've seen a charcuterie meme online, if you see anything to do with charcuterie online, I've seen it. I've seen it 1,000 times because now everyone's sending me everything. And there was one yesterday that was like, charcuterie is just Lunchables that went to Harvard. There and on and on and on. So it's like people have done this where they'll serve a charcuterie of Lunchables, and it's always like a dude. It's always like the guy who's like, yo, what's up? And it's got a natty light on the board too. And I get the problem becomes in the charcuterie review game, I can't lampoon the lampoon.
That's right. That's right.
It's like people who parodied on a boat. It's already a parody.
It's already a parody. Exactly. I don't know where to go from here.
I make that public service announcement a couple of times a month and no one ever adheres to it. If you see something 2 days after the Super Bowl that you think is funny, don't send it to me. I've guarantee you I've already seen it. We do a celebrity death pool for 14 years now. If a celebrity dies, I know about it before you do. Unless you killed him or stepped over his dead body in an alley somewhere, I know about it before you do. So just
this is our. I think people get confused because this is our business. Our business is to know charcuterie memes, is to know which celebrity died. And it's like me sending someone a meme about that real estate rates went down. I mortgage rates went down. Hey man, it's like I'm gonna assume my mortgage broker knows the rates are changing before I do.
Right. Save your Bitcoin memes for your financial guy. He's already seen
exactly. Them. He's seen them. It's over. He knows what Bitcoin's at. He's sweating his ass off just watching it rise and fall. Yeah.
So I started last year and buying some stocks before the whole GameStop and AMC and all that shit. I just bought a couple of small things. Like somebody gave me a heads up. There was a company, Aurora Cannabis, that with all the legalization of marijuana, they were going to take off. So I bought a couple of $1,000, like $3,000 worth. It was cheap. And it would fall and fall and fall. And I was like, maybe I should buy more. That's usually how it works. So I bought a little bit more. And then it split negatively. So now what I had was worth at one point $80 a share. Well, it was like $26 a share is now worth $1.11. So finally I sucked it up and sold it and got rid of it. It's never going to come back. So I bought a couple other small things. And I wanted to buy Bitcoin, but I didn't know how or where or how to do it. So I jumped on a couple of things that I got real cheap that are now in the 20s, which is pretty good. So I made money, and I'm so tempted with Bitcoin tanking right now to sell everything that I have and just put it in Bitcoin. Because even if I lost it all, it wouldn't cripple me. But it's still so fucking tempting to just the idea that it might go up to 60,000 or 100,000 in a couple of years.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. I used to sell life insurance. I did financial advising before I did comedy. And, they talked a lot about this type of stuff during the .com boom where and bust. And also, not as much the mortgage crash, but more the .com thing where you feel out of the loop because at parties, at dinner parties, everyone's like, oh, everyone wants to tell you their hot stock that they've bought. And this is what's happening now with Bitcoin. And listen, I'm sure people have made money. People have made money. It's gone up like crazily. I'm aware. But the problem I have is the dumbest type of person has made money off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's the person that heard something's gonna go well, jumped on a bandwagon. They don't know, like, everything I've watched and read about Bitcoin is that it's not even about money. It's going to become something else. And then when they try to explain what it's going to become with crypto and all this stuff and Chainlink or whatever they call it, when they try to explain what it's going to become, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can't even think of this conceptually. And listen, I'm an averagely, I'm a mediocrely smart person. I went to a state school. I'm not saying I'm smarter than anyone else.
You just called yourself averagely. That proved it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm averagely, mediocrely, whatever other word I can make up off the spot that means I'm just fine. I have to assume I'm within 10% of most people. But when I see people I was out at dinner the other night, this dude was talking about Bitcoin, and I hated him because you have to be just dumb enough to invest in something you know nothing about, and then have it work out. So this guy had Oakleys behind his head, like how people wear Oakleys on their back of their neck. Yeah. He had a big chain on. He looked like he just got done at Rollins College that his dad paid too much for, and he's just like, "No, you gotta get in now." And I'm like, all I want this to do, like, it does seem like everyone who just enjoys Monster energy drink also got in. And I was like, I want these people to fail so bad. And I know they're doing well now. Like, I understand. But, like, the type of person that, like, I remember 60 Minutes did an interview with a guy who invented one of these cryptocurrencies. Yeah. This guy was like Rain Man. Like, it wasn't Joe Blow that works at the gas station. It wasn't your buddy that you met at FSU. It was a guy who was Stephen Hawking level smart. So the idea that these people are now have this bravado as if they know what the fuck they're talking about. When I'm watching this guy, like, it was a whole thing on Dateline about how the Russian government was like basically like giving this kid whatever he wanted. He was like 18, but you're looking at this kid going, fuck, I'm screwed. Like, we have allowed the bullies to stop giving wedgies. So now this guy can create a whole new currency that somehow bankrupts me.
Yep.
We have signed up for a worse bully. We have tried to kill our cat with a mountain lion, and now that mountain lion is about to rape us with a cryptocurrency that we don't even know what's going on. Like, the idea that we're all not going to be hooked on painkillers in 20 years is crazy. We're all about to be former toll booth workers. That's going to be all of us. Every time I see, and I just read a whole thing about how mental health is so connected to being able to work. And it's like, we're basically eradicating jobs right now. I don't know what this cryptocurrency is going to be, but it seems to be invented by the same people that made the fast pass to put the toll booth workers out of business. And I feel like soon there's going to be like a robot comedian getting up on stage being like, oh, I hate losing weight. Like, it's going to be, and I'm going to be like, what the fuck do I do?
That is so funny you say that, because that's so real. I don't even know where to start. So I watched a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I watched that Bitcoin documentary that was on Netflix when people were just watching movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I watched it. My son, I would wait in Carline. Carline took me at least an hour to get my kids every day. And I would just sit there and watch it and kind of relax. And I watched it and I was like, okay, so this guy, they don't really know what invented it, but they have it. And I get it. So then this guy's doing it, this guy's mining for it, and he's collecting them. And when it was over, I was like, I think I got it. I think I kind of understand it a little bit. And I was trying to discuss it with my wife, and she asked me one question, and I was like, I don't fucking know. I have no idea. I have no idea. And I don't.
My question is, what's it called again?
Yeah, and the thing is like, who the fuck is using it? This is like 3 years ago. So nobody, I'm like, it's a different currency system, but there's only so much, and you can have and then I go, I don't know who's taking it. Right now, the only thing I know you could do is buy fucking crack on the dark web with it. That's all it was good for.
I agree. And if it'd be one thing if you knew Bill Gates and because you hear a lot, they're like 1% of your financial standing should be in cryptocurrency. That's basically what a lot of people now are saying. Like, this is the news now. And it's like financial people that are like, yeah. And financial people are always late to this shit. 1%. If Bill Gates looked at me and was like, just fucking do it, I would do it. You know what I mean? Like, I would go, okay, my buddy Bill, he's a billionaire. He invented Microsoft. Well, I'm saying, like, same thing. If Elon Musk was my friend and was like, just fucking do it. But if he's not my friend and he's just on TV, first of all, I have to assume that Elon is only to gain by people buying into cryptocurrency, not to like turn into this conspiracy theorist, but we saw with the GameStop thing, like if you can get people to buy, you are like the GameStop CEO. I'll tell you a quick story after this, but the GameStop CEO became like wildly rich in one day, but then couldn't sell any of the stock because he would get sued by everyone that was like invested in his company. So that's like a whole thing. But if they took to my ear a year ago and were like, just do it, I'd be like, all right, I'm listening to Elon. I'm listening to my buddy Bill Gates.
BG.
But yeah, BG told me to do it. I'm just going to do it because I don't know what I'm talking about. He does. Yeah. The problem I have now is everyone telling me to do it is now the biggest douchebag that looks like he'd fucking in a like an Affliction T-shirt that's still wearing a Von Dutch hat that's still showing me the 7 rings he bought off of eBay because he's made so much. Like he invested in rings after getting his big win in cryptocurrency. Like that's and so like now I'm out. I have to assume it's too late. But I'll say like I heard a story after GameStop went up, it became about AMC theaters, right?
That's where I got suckered in.
So you were in an AMC theaters. Do you know that because AMC became the next stock that everyone bought into, some people were so stupid that they bought an AMC, the TV station?
I hope that's not what I did. No, I didn't.
So there are people.
Wouldn't that be a great reveal right now if I fucking bought the wrong AMC?
Check it out. You have to look it up now but that's how, and a lot of this became, people were like, you shouldn't, a lot of the stories became, look at that, taking care of, the investors versus taking care of, against the, Johnny Penny stock. And that's not really what it was.
Right.
What it was is the government has to protect stupid investors. There's such a thing as an accredited investor. Like there are people that invest differently than you. That's just the unequalness of life. Like I remember when I sold life insurance, I was retail in finance. Like it's hard to compare yourself as a financial advisor to a guy working at Abercrombie and Fitch, but that's what I was for finance. The idea that I had a secret that someone else didn't, that kind of that stressed me out. Like I was like, I don't have that. You have to, it's all relationship shit. It's like there's a humbling that comes with the AMC GameStop thing where it's like, you don't know shit. Yeah. Sorry. By the way, good at your business.
Breaking news. I bought the AMC at probably about $10 and change.
Okay.
And as it was falling, I bought a little bit, and then it dropped again. I bought a little bit more, then I bought a little bit more. I made several purchases from my total, and it's a 0 buy rate on it right now. And it has this morning it was like $6 and change, which is just a shits. I had lost a couple of $1,000 on it. Right 40%. Now, dude, right now, since we're talking about it, it just shot up to $10, and my total return now, I'm only down $75.
Nice. There you go.
We'll be entirely different tomorrow.
I think that means you sell right now and you get the hell out of there and go to a mutual fund.
I think it's my gambling. I don't have a gambling addiction, but I definitely enjoy the adrenaline of it. I won't sell that. I need to know how that's going to go. It's not even a regret thing. Like I'd hate to sell it and went to 13. I just want to, it'll go to 13. I'll be like, let's just wait a little bit longer. The fucking adrenaline. And let me tell you about financial advisors. I have a decent amount of money saved for a guy my age. And so many financial guys over the years are trying to get me to fucking sign up with them. And the number one reason why I won't do it, and I've gone a couple of times to a guy, I'm like, all right, I know he's made that guy a couple, but I call him up. Hey, okay, so what's your biggest priority? I want to make sure my family is, set in case anything ever happens. Well, you have to have life insurance. So every one of them says the first thing, you have to have life insurance. I go, look, I have a multi-million-dollar life insurance policy, and so does my wife, through my job. Okay. I've been paying for it for years. I have it there. My wife, who worked for New York Life Insurance for 20 years and doesn't work, hasn't worked there for a while, she also has a policy. We're pretty set there. We're like, if one of us dies, the other one's going to be rich the next day. So we're good at that. And every one of those fucking guys is like, but you need this insurance. You need this more than health insurance. You need to double it. And I'm like, fuck you, dude. And now I know where we're at. And that's when they're like, no, you don't pay us anything up front. Yeah, I know, because then you're going to try and sell me bullshit every fucking week. I know how it goes. So I'm like, I'm out.
Well, I can tell you right now from working in that industry, they make the most money off of life insurance sales. And they give you, they have different products, just like anything has products, they have products. And some of them are conservative. Some of them are are more risky. But with the life insurance thing, they are right. Technically, they are right. But they're trying to get you on fear. So they need you to fear for your life enough, or fear for your kids not having enough money. They'll say, when I worked in life insurance sales, they would say to you, there was this one guy, and it was so fucking hack. Like, like you see a hack comedian. There were hack life insurance sales.
Oh, I'm sure.
He'd be like, I remember delivering those checks after 9/11. And it's like, dude, you're using 9/11.
Yeah, he probably wasn't even in insurance during 9/11, you motherfuckers.
I remember handing those checks with tears still in their eyes. Like, dude, you expect us to believe you were at the funerals with a big check? Right. Like you were fucking
presenting it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was sweepstakes, and you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, what you're doing right now is actually unhealthy. I understand, because he is right. That's the problem. If you live in the moral superiority in that, you're gonna win that argument, because it's like, They'll ask you questions. They'll be like, so do you think $10 million can supplement your wife and kids for 30 years? Let's break it down. And then they'll do some sort of math equation.
That's what they said to me. I mean, this is my exact thing I said. With my insurance policy, my wife has enough money to pay for this house, pay for the cars, and pay all of our debt that we have, and still be a millionaire. And they're like, yeah, but how long does that last? I'm like, my wife is a 9.5. She'll be fucking a retired baseball player in 2 weeks. There'll be no problem there whatsoever. We live in Tampa, home of spring training. We'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be just fine. But you're the type of person that they meet with, and they're like, well, you got me there. I can't say your wife can't fuck a minor league baseball player. Like, what am I going to do?
She has to go to a rapper. She'll go to a rapper. If you don't think those There It Is guys are getting paid from that commercial right now, she'll get one of those guys.
She'll be the one raining sprinkles in the commercial. Yeah, that's.
Hey, let me give you another update on something. So I'm on Snapchat mostly for work, and occasionally for some titty pictures. And I get this girl that adds me named Jenny that I don't recognize as. There's no picture; it's just a cartoon character, which is her cartoon character is pretty hot.
So, gotta be careful.
Well, she hits me up, and she's. A lot of times she'll just be like, hey, how's it going? And I always write back to anybody, good, how are you doing? Like I'm assuming that they're a listener. And if I'm on Snapchat and they said hi to me, I'll definitely say hi back. And then today she goes, are you near Rosedale? And I go, I don't know what the fuck Rosedale is. And she's like, Hoover? And I'm thinking, are these high schools that I don't know of? So I wrote back, who are you? And she's like, I gotta read her response. She wrote back. She wrote, I saw you on Snapchat, so I quick edited you. Decided to add you up. Don't know if you're down for some nasty fun. So right away, I know I'm in the middle of something, and I should block and run, but I cannot. Not for the idea that, like, I most likely believe this is a man in Jakarta somewhere that is going to try and get money out of me or blackmail me with a dick picture, and I have to write it out and find out what's going on.
So what did you write back?
Nothing yet. That just happened right as the show was starting. And I also am the same kind of guy that I answer 80% of the calls that I get during the day that ring up on my phone that said probably scam. I have to answer them. I feel like I have to waste as much as their time of mine. And they got to the point now where I think they know that I'm a problem, because they right out of the gate. Like, there's the Spanish speaking ones. Do you speak Spanish, Mush? So I used to live in Miami. I don't speak it either, just high school Spanish. But when you call somebody, when Cubans call each other on the phone, they don't say hola, they don't say hello. They pick up the phone and they go, dígame. That means talk to me. And so now when they call me and it's like, oh, blah, 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 I just hit one and then I wait for them to get on and I go, dígame. And then some of them start talking to me in Spanish, but now I think they know me. Now I really think it's just 3 people making the phone call because I go, dígame, and they go, I'll fuck you, and hang up. Like, I got you.
It's him again. Yeah.
As long as you get the feeling, my buddy Pete, my best friend Pete, he is quite possibly the fucking funniest human being ever. We call him Charlie Babbitt. Remember Tom Cruise and Rain Man? Tom Cruise was the guy who was dealing with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and cars and all that stuff, and he was constantly making deals and phone calls. That's Pete. Pete sells high-end luxury cars to athletes and stuff. So he's a no bullshit, no time for nothing kind of guy. So I'm driving to Orlando, and he gets a call from a number he doesn't recognize, and he answers it, and the guy's like, yes, hello, is this Mr. Beat? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, this is Beat. And the guy goes, Mr. Beat, we want to tell you about it. And Pete goes, where are you from? And the guy goes, I am from California. And he goes, what's your zip code? And the guy goes, 9. And he goes, listen to me. And the guy goes, okay. He goes, bullshitting me. I know you're trying to do a job here, but you can't call up and not be prepared when people are going to ask you a question. The guy goes, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm now driving and dying laughing, and the guy, he's completely mentally broken the guy down, and he's where you at, India? And the guy's like, yeah, and he goes, well, I know this isn't your fucking main job. What do you do? And the guy goes, I do computer programming. He goes, you build websites? The guy goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, all right. He goes, I'm gonna give you my email. You email me. I got some work for you on the side. Fucking hires the guy to build websites for him.
Come on.
I swear to God.
Did he do a good job?
Yes, Pete. He needed it for a client who needed it. He was like a middleman for a client. The guy had asked him if he still had a guy who did website, blah, blah, and he puts the two of them together. He makes the guy do some example designs for him so he sees that he's good, and then he puts the two together. The guy's fucking getting paid now, and they work for pennies. So, but dude, it was just
probably making more off of this one deal. Yeah. Like this was a gold mine for him. I'm assuming
that whole phone call go from. I love when Pete goes, come on, you're not from this country. Yes, my name is Tony. He goes, you're not fucking Tony, just like my name's not Beat. He's like, when the fuck have you ever met anybody in your life named Beat? Dude, that shit makes me laugh so hard.
He probably has.
Yeah, that guy probably. You're right.
There's no way it's just Beat. It must be Beat.
It's Beat. Yeah. I love it. I mean, I feel bad for someone. And then a lot of times those guys are Muslim and they are incredibly homophobic. So I'll really get into the conversation. Oh, dude, if you get into the conversation about what they're trying to sell, a warranty or something, like I always go, so what is that? How will them? My car is like a 2012. That yes, that's very good. And then right when there's a low, I go, what do you look like? You a good looking guy? Excuse me. I go, I don't know. I could just something about your voice that does something, and they're like, fuck you, gay faggot. Then they get mad and they hang up. They're totally homophobic. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I can't believe that they would yell, like, swear at you.
Dude, and you're like, it's like faggot is the number one word for them to say. Like, they must all be in the room. They're like, another faggot? Yeah.
Oh, my
it's
God.
That queer Cuban again.
Yeah. You got me, faggot. Where are you? You're in South Florida now. Is your girl still here?
She went back to Atlanta. I'm in Boca. I'm sitting in a little pool house here at my parents'. My dad got the
so
second.
Your parents are rich.
Yeah, they got some dough. They're doing okay. They're not gonna be,
I wonder what that's like. I wonder what my kid's vision is like compared to what mine was. Like you're the version of my son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think being aware of it is better than, like, I see a lot, especially when I started doing comedy, you'd see a lot of people that I knew came from an amount, like I knew they were doing okay, but then they would be like, oh, I'm so poor, and then go into their joke about taking an Uber to the open mic, and you'd be like, come on, like what are you doing? Like, I know where you went to summer camp. Like, you don't have to lie. Like, I just saw a lot of that when I first started stand-up, just a lot of, like, it would be like a Brooklyn type of person that wants you to believe that they have it just as hard as everyone else because they think that's they can't explain it the other way with a little bit of charm and a little bit of, self-realization and like a little bit of humility. And like, listen, I say it on stage. I'm like, because I tried telling the story about how I have a late night eating addiction. So I'm telling the story about how when I was here, I was going to like try and sneak in the house to make like a snack for myself. And like, basically the story is about like realizing this is my addiction. But I was like so stuck on how do I explain that I'm in a pool house versus the big house? Like that was something in my mind that I was like, how do I tell a joke about my problems as a guy living in a pool house for free that I can't get into my parents' bigger house?
Things are so bad right now.
Oh, the worst.
18 steps in the middle of the night. Well, was it cold? No, it was like in the 60s. Yeah. Was it outside? No,
on the heated tablet stones on the way to the doorway.
Yeah,
I do that to Bobby all the time. I fuck with Bobby on purpose. I always go, I have it, but it's in the other wing of my house. Like I'll just talk about it. He's like, you have a fucking wing.
That's exactly it. So it's like, I think like there's a point when I was doing open mics where I'm like, fuck it. This is not as, like, not that I ever tried to like, but I'm saying like when I'm telling this story on stage, I'm like, yeah, they got a little pool house and I'm in the pool house. They're in the big house. I was like, I told you, Boca, Jewish, rich, we run the banks. Let's move on. Like make a joke, make it funny. No one cares as long as you make it funny and you're honest. Like that's all you have to do. So
what did your father do?
So my dad was always in like family business. Like my family used to do wholesale liquor distributing, and then he was in nursing homes, and now he's just hanging. He got the second shot yesterday, and he was so cocky. He got the second shot. Invincible. He told me, he goes, I did it. I conquered the pandemic. This is what he's saying to me. And then today, I'm like, where's Dad? My mom's like, oh, he's so sick. He's so. And I went in there, and he's lying in bed. He can't even open his eyes. I was like, oh, you conquered the pandemic, big boy. How'd it go, Doc? I kept calling him Dr. Slouchy. I'm like, how'd it go, Dr. Slouchy? And he's hurting. So
that's fucking great.
It was great.
I just, I'm so glad that that thing didn't affect me at all. I had it for 2 days. I had a headache. I was fine. Everybody got in and out of it. We're all good. And now we can just sit here with antibodies and laugh at everybody else.
It is amazing the attitude change, because I'm here with my, their friends are all around the same age. So they're like, you can see them show up. They're walking like Vince McMahon walks out of the tunnel now.
Right.
They're just like, they are legitimately, and I'm doing a show in West Palm tomorrow night, and I'm like, my parents are like telling their friends about the show. They're like, yeah, if you want to come, like whatever. And they're like, you can see them doing the the calendar versus the vaccination. They're like, okay, I think I can do that now.
You
like,
can go, oh yeah.
So it's just an amazing thing. So it's been fun living with them, but like, you kind of go back and forth. I've been here since mid-December between being their son and then being a roommate. Like as a son, like we'll go, like last night we went for ice cream. And I was like, can I get sprinkles? And then,
you know what? I don't know. My parents have been divorced since I was like 4 years old. And my mother, God bless her, although she's a super hard worker and all that, we've never been that kind of like, I was telling my wife the other day, I said, between my family and her family, when I was a kid, and still a lot of it now, I was a big pussy. My mom would have boyfriends, and I remember her boyfriend always thought I was gay because I was just shy and kind of like the chubby kid, And then there were I don't like roller coasters. I never wanted to go on roller coasters. I just made smarter decisions on what neighborhoods I would go to. I just was like a real timid kid. And somehow I have now become the tough guy and the leader of two families. I don't know how this became me. All of a sudden I'm the guy that everybody calls and goes, hey, I gotta talk to you. Having some problems with this. I go, how the fuck are you? How do I know? I don't know how I got here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, when you make money, you're in the position of decision making a lot. And I think people trust that.
The interesting thing is that I make money, but my brother, who went the traditional route of getting his master's degree, also makes a shit ton of money. And my brother-in-law, who is in sales, also makes good money. So it's in this case, I think it's because I have a lot of connections here, and also because I
Mhm.
talk so much bullshit on the radio. Everybody thinks that I know everything. That's probably it.
Also, and we talked about this, and when we were talking about giving dating advice, you're not a judgmental person.
No.
Someone can come to you with any problem, and you're
Yeah.
not going to go, this is wrong. Like, that's not going to be your first answer. Your first answer is going to be, all right, let's. And also, when you do radio, you're a good listener too. Like, you're listening for every point in the story. I think that's. I can understand why someone would trust you over sales brother-in-law who's like, listen.
He's my go-to. He's the level-headed one. I actually would go to him. Where did you grow up?
Outside of Boston, a town called Needham.
Boston. Did you listen to Howard or no?
I listened to Howard.
Like terrestrially or just on Sirius?
No, Sirius after I got out of college. He was like my lifeline when I graduated college, and that, like, I always say, like, people talk about like quarter life crisis, or like, I think for a kid that lived if you lived a great life as a child, your first real breaking point as an adult is 22. Like, 18 is not hard. You go to a college, whatever. 22, you graduate from college, and all of a sudden you can't keep taking tests and getting the grades. And someone's just like, yeah, figure it out. And it's the first time you've really ever had to figure it out. So Howard became like the calming voice that I could kind of like get my brain, like get my anxieties out of my own head. So after college, I listened to him a lot. But I would listen to sports radio in Boston is what I listened to my whole life.
Well, the reason why I bring up Howard is because Stuttering John was in on my show today, and you know John? Like, do you know him from the show, or do you just know who he is?
I know him. Like, I think when I got into the show, he was like on the outs and became more of like post Howard career whack pack, where he was like on reality shows for a minute. That's how I know him.
He was an integral part of the success of that show, in my opinion, because he was the first real man on the street kind of guy when he had the stutter and go into his celebrity. And then they had it on the TV show too, so they would have video of it. And John was also the best thing about radio. He was an instigator, where he would start fights among the infighting. He wasn't afraid of that. And then I always say, and people ask me, I listened to him from when he was on NBC on AM in afternoons, all the way up to mornings and K-Rock and all the way to satellite. So when people ask me the best years of his life, I think it was in the late 90s when it was Artie and John on there together were the best years of that show. But my point is that I grew up listening to him since I would listen to them on my way to high school. You know what I mean? So that's how long. And I'm going to be 50 years old this year. So I just called my friends last night and I was like, hey, Stuttering John's coming on tomorrow. And they were like, oh, and they're like, he's been on your show before. I go, yeah. He's coming in my garage tomorrow. I don't know why. That just fucking weirds me out so much, is that when people have to come in my garage to do this show, I'm like, Stuttering John's in my garage. Brian Callen was here, and I told my son, I'm like, hey, that guy from the Goldbergs, he's going to be in our garage tomorrow.
That's hilarious. And it's weird. It's like you have a moment of, it feels surreal. You're like, wow, life, it just like that points on the graph. You're like, how did life intercept each other?
Yep.
In this way? Like, well, Stuttering John, like, it makes sense that he was the instigator, because then he joined Leno, which was like the biggest stab in the back to Howard Stern. Well, he took it that way.
Today. Yeah, Howard, we were talking about what a dick Howard is today, because he really doesn't give a shit about his people. John was making like in the 30s in Manhattan, like 30 grand, to work there. And Jay Leno hires him to be his announcer and writer and pays him $250,000 a year. What are you supposed to do? He was married. He had a kid. How do you not do that? And you're also on a show that is gaining success every day, and you're not seeing any of it. You're watching this guy get rich, and you're doing all the shit that's getting you punched in the face and getting laughs, and you're not getting anything out of it. So I don't fault him for that at all. And even Jay was like, I gave the guy a shot, gave him a thing. He was good. He was good on my show. And, and then we started talking about, other things on the show that it's just disappointing to hear. It's not that I'm so surprised from listening to him, because he's pretty honest about what an asshole he is, but it was just really disappointing to hear.
Well, I would say nothing bothers me more than when people ignore the currency of a situation.
Yeah.
And so, like, listen, like, I still enjoy Howard interviewing people. If I can find a good interview, I'm going to listen to it. I think he's, I mean, again, he's unbelievable. His show is unbelievable. But I would say, like, when someone ignores currency, that drives me personally crazy, because, like, I talk about it with social media. Like, I do so much stuff online. Like, I yell at The Bachelor every Monday night, and I'll have people DM me, jokes about The Bachelor, and then I'll see that they don't follow me, and I'll go, hey, you forgot to follow.
Yeah.
And they'll laugh at me. They'll make me out to be this crazy person. And I'll be like, well, that's how I make money. I make money by putting out this free content, and the agreement is that you follow, and an advertiser see how much followers I have, advertise on my page, or I sell you a ticket when I come to your town. The only way I can sell you a ticket is if you sign up to have me on your scroll. Right. So it's like, and so in the same way that
you bring that up, because I started looking at my Instagram page, and I don't monetize my stuff. I don't really care about it, but I probably should care a little more. So lately I've been paying attention to it. And I was like, I'm not following people who don't follow me anymore. And I don't mean just random people. Like, I'm going to follow Tom Brady. He's not going to follow me back. I'm cool with it.
Sure.
But I'm not going to follow. And I came up on Giannis Pappas. I was like, fuck him. I go to look at him. I'm like, if he's not following me, he is fucking out. And I looked, and he followed me. I was like, all right, thank you, Giannis. We'll continue that relationship. But I'm just saying,
we're cool.
Somebody like that, like, I'm like, you've been on the show, you've been on the podcast or whatever, and now we got a relationship. If you're not gonna go ahead and follow me, then fuck it. Why am I I just came to the realization, like, I'm just not gonna follow you anymore either. Fuck you.
The problem is, and this happens with dating too, this happens where people say, well, it's just social media. It's always you that's the crazy one. You're the one that cares too much. And it's like, no. I care the right amount. If I feel this way, then you feel this way. And it's like, listen, it's a non-support of someone's career. Like, and it's like, listen, do you want the people that you enjoy, the people that provide you entertainment, do you want them to be able to pay rent?
Right.
Like, is that like, because I have people that will just search my page, and I'm like, and then they'll go follow me back, and I'll go, you don't get it. And I block them right away. And I'm like, I'm not going to deal with you.
I block people who, I'm pretty quick to block. I just don't deal with cunts.
Too.
I'm like, you're a motherfucker. You're out. I don't get. But quicker if somebody is criticizing me, hey, today when you said that was kind of dumb, because I look and not even follow me, I'm like, oh, fuck you then. You just sought me out so you could tell me that you didn't like something myself. Fuck, block. I don't give a shit.
I block those people so fast, and because I think of social media, I think of a radio show, I think of a podcast like a party. I'm throwing a party. If you hate the music, don't sit here and complain about the music. Just leave.
Yeah,
I'll lead you out.
People will complain to other listeners. Calta, I said one thing to him, and he's thin-skinned. He blocked me. Yeah, that's me, thin-skinned guy over here. That's what I'm like. You got to understand that I just have less tolerance for assholes in my life.
It's also like, I'm running a business here. Whether, my business might be fun, you might enjoy my business, but I can't spend my time and energy on the people that don't want to shop at my store.
That's right.
And
that's right.
That's all it is.
Do you unblock people?
I had someone today, they tweeted at me. First of all, they followed me. Then they tweeted at me, hey, you must have made a mistake and blocked me. And so I tweeted back. I could read it to you right now. I'll bring it up right now. I tweeted back. I was like, I don't make any mistakes. I block everyone on purpose.
Yep. I always say, somebody goes, I don't know why I'm blocked. I go, think about it. Think about it. I used to do amnesty for a little while, where somebody, I'd call up and I go, you tell me what you did, and we'll see if we can forgive you. And if you told me your screen name and I remembered you, fuck you. I don't care how much you're like, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm like, too fucking bad. You should have thought about it before.
This person tweeted at me, hey, Jared, did you block me on Instagram by accident? I love your comedy, but I can't find your account anymore. You make The Bachelor watchable. Help. So then they give me their Instagram handle. So then I wrote back. And so then I went and looked them up. I had blocked them. They don't follow me on Instagram. So I'm assuming I blocked them because I don't know. We didn't have any messages. So I'm like, I'm assuming I blocked them because they didn't follow and they were taking up my time watching my stuff and not, or they said that I was, whatever. So I wrote, I've never blocked someone by accident, but I block people on purpose who enjoy the free comedy I put out to the world without following the account so that I have a chance to sell them a ticket in the future or make money off the number of followers I have from a sponsor. And then I wrote them back. I go, you're unblocked, but this is my standing. Like, I'm not, and I think a lot of comics, and I think you've probably met so many of these comics, they don't have enough confidence to do that. And they don't have enough confidence to think of what they do as a business. And it's like, listen, I have pursued the most fun thing that I love doing the most. You can admit to this is a business as well. This is something that every day I'm putting every bit of me into it. Yeah. And it's like, if someone can't even give me the acknowledgement of a follow, and also, again, back to the Stuttering John thing, that is a currency game. For Howard to look at him and be like, how could you do this to me? Well, you can counteroffer. You can, and my dad says it to me all the time. It's nothing personal. It's just money. Right. That's all it is. It's nothing personal. They didn't buy your comedy special because they didn't think you could make them more money. If they thought they could make you more money, they would have bought your comedy special. And listen, they might be wrong, but everyone's making investments, whether it's cryptocurrency or it's Jared Freid talking about farting at a girl's house. It's no different.
You want to know the perfect example of that is I worked for CBS for a while, and I'm doing okay, but I showed a little bit of promise, Okay. So I get hired by Clear Channel, and I am cocky as all hell. This is in 2006. I'm like, I am going to take over the fucking world now. Howard's gone. I'm coming in. 2006, I go over there, and the other radio stations actually got nervous. So this company they copy my show, and they sent out copies to all the advertisers about how dirty I was. And one of my clients gives me a copy of the letter. So I take the letter and I read it on the air, and I name the salesperson who sent the letter. Her name was Jillian. And I'm like, let me tell you something, Jillian. I said, you can hate me all you want, but now you're fucking with me and you're fucking with my family. My wife is pregnant, my money. And I was like, this will not end well for you. Well, I know that I don't have to do anything after that. Once I've fucking set these lunatics, once I lit the fuse in their head, this is like internet still. Google is just like starting to hit. They found her house. They found her husband lived in Miami. They were giving her husband death threats. They went fucking insane on this woman to the point where I had to get on there and go, all right, stop. I think she gets the point. You know what I'm saying? Then I get fired from this job. So for unrelated stuff. So my problem there is that woman is the number one salesperson for the company across the street. So now that I fucked myself by doing that, I'm like, they'll never hire me. I just fucking destroyed that woman's life. And my agent's like, they don't give a fuck about that. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you don't think if they think that they're going to bring you over there and make money, they don't give a, they'll fire her. I go, no, I don't know. That's why I've worked now for the past 15 years. They brought me over there. I work there. She doesn't work there. It's all about the fucking money. It's about who and the best part is my boss goes, hey, it's going to be uncomfortable. Do you think we could bring her in and just talk it out and make it cool? I was like, oh yeah, cool. I didn't say I would apologize or anything. So they bring her in the room and she goes, and I go, hey, listen, I go, my wife is pregnant. You were trying to get me fired. I probably went a little bit too far. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're on the same team now. And blah, blah. And she goes, well, let me tell you something. I was getting death threats. And who do you think you're on? And I went, hey, fucking listen to me. I said, next time, keep your mouth shut before you do something like that. If you can't handle what's fucking going to come. And they were like, all right, separate these two.
Oh my God.
And next thing you know, she's working from home. Then she moved to Miami. And then now all of a sudden she's out of radio. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what your father said. If the money is there, they will stab their own people in the face to get more money to come in.
It's all about follow the money, follow it at every turn. And it's also like, if I'm her, like in that situation, like, listen, you didn't want anyone to attack her and her husband. That's not what you were asking for.
Kind of.
But I think like, you play, I don't know, play along, but if like you go with the, now there's a whole new level of jokes to be had. Like, we're on the same team. Let's make some serious dough. And people buy, like, she could have been like selling ads to, the Jillian Hour. Like it's like
the girl who makes the most money off of me now didn't pay a goddamn mind to me 1 cent. She was like, hi, hi. Then the minute she needed something from me from Hooters, she was like, hi, flirty. And at first that made me mad. And then I realized, no, she's just she's a businesswoman. She knows when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Now we're like best friends, and she makes the most money in the building. She makes me the most money. And I was like, she gets it. She knows how it's done.
And it's like, there's a piece of that like I kind of respect the most with like, I do respect dollar and cents people. Like it is easier for me to understand them than it is like, because a lot of times in stand-up and comedy, there's a lot of stuff that isn't dollars and cents. You want to look a certain way for hiring a certain way or for making a certain joke. Like you see it on Twitter. Like there are people that are comics with 100,000 followers that never make a joke on Twitter. How did they get that following? Yeah. Well, they made a deal with the, with a certain, social, they know what to say. They know how to sound right. They know how to rah-rah a certain drum. So it's like, for me, that can be frustrating, but I do enjoy when someone's like if someone fired me, they go, we just can't, like, look at the Gina Carano thing. Remember that? Did you hear that story?
Yeah.
So Gina Carano, like she says that she makes a comment about, being a conservative is like being a Jew in Holocaust Europe. As a Jew, I hear that statement. I go, she sounds stupid. That's my immediate takeaway. She sounds stupid. I'm not going to be spending my time knocking at Disney's door to make sure she gets fired.
Would you watch The Mandalorian still, or would you say, fuck her, I'm not watching this anymore?
I like the show. I'd probably still watch it.
Yeah.
So, but here's what I'll say. I will think that she's stupid every time she's on TV.
Fine.
I do. I will think she's stupid every time I see her on TV, and it will be in my head. I'll be watching Mandalorian. My head will be off on Tatooine, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, look at this fucking idiot. It'll take me out. The Mr. Disney, Mrs. Disney, whoever made the decision, they didn't make the decision to get rid of her because they were like, they're sitting there like with their rabbi being like, I don't know what to do. They made it because we're going to make less money because of this stupid idiot. I look like an idiot next to her. Get rid of her.
Yeah.
Dollars and cents. And it's like, so when it's explained that way, what are you going to, like, I just don't like that they explain it. They go, us at Disney can't be incorporated. No. Us at Disney like making money. We are going to make a bet that she's going to be a reason we make less money. And then no one can look at them and go, oh, look at you, the liberal. No. They are the almighty dollar.
Money. Yeah.
You're fucking with our money. Yeah, it's a mob boss mentality. You fuck with my money, you're out of the inner circle.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the person who's going to play her at the theme parks.
Yeah, that's it. Listen, she's probably not even thinking that way. She's not thinking that she like has people that like, their livelihoods are based on her, saying the right things or saying, not stupid things.
Yeah. That's fucked up, man. I don't know how. Well, I think it's harder for you guys as comedians. I'd be so afraid to say anything right now. I think I've been doing radio in the same spot for so long that nobody's surprised by anything I say. Nobody, like,
sure.
Anytime the newspaper will write something about it, they'll be like, shock jock, Mike Calta. But I haven't said anything shocking in 10 years. There's nothing more. What's that? There's nothing that I could do that is going. I have to kill somebody in the studio before anybody's shocked anymore. So at this point, I'm just a guy who speaks his mind, and I think more people appreciate that. That's
absolutely, and people are looking for that, and also, it's you want to speak your mind reasonably too. Like you understand the value of your words, and you know what you're saying at every turn, and you have a certain intent. People kind of strip the intent from a lot of things now because, again, you get 100,000 Twitter followers if you're just, if you say, look at this word said this way, it is wrong. And it's like morally, I guess, you can't really fight that.
My superpower, I think, is being able to tell people I don't like them that I don't like them. That's been my best thing. Like I was thinking about it today. Somebody was like, "You know that comedian that stuttered on America's Got Talent or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I know who they are, but I don't know." And they're like, "Have they been on the show?" I go, "God, no." And they're like, "How do you tell the comedy club when you don't want somebody on?" I go, "Oh, they asked me about this guy," and I go, "Fuck no." That's it. I don't give a shit. How, but I've been wrong before. I saw a guy on TV, I didn't like him, and then Galvin or somebody will go, he's actually pretty funny. The great example of that was Kevin Hart. I didn't know who Kevin Hart was back in the day. Like I'd seen him on TV once, twice. I was like, funny black guy. And then Galvin's like, he's actually really funny. And we brought him in the studio, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy was great. Boy, was I wrong. And he blows up, So
I think that's the major point that you get is the ability to say, yeah, I was wrong and move on from it. Like, I think like right now we are in this world where it's like if you say you're wrong, you are somehow admitting guilt.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can say you're wrong. I've had that. I call it fuck that guy mode, FTG mode. I call it FTG mode. And everyone has it in them where you hear someone's name, you see their picture, and you go, fuck that guy. And it's more about me than it is about them. I've said that about so many people that are now good friends of mine where I'm like, fuck this guy. And then I'm like, okay, I'll bring him on the podcast. And then we talk for 5 minutes. I go, we're the same fucking person. I love this guy. I'm an idiot. I'm wrong.
I bet you I'm the fuck that guy from a lot of people's point of view. Like they'll be like, "Well, that guy on the radio." They're like, "Fuck that guy." I bet you that happens a lot.
Dude, I get that from every boyfriend that is dragged to my stand-up shows.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the guy. I'm the straight dude who yells at The Bachelor and gives straight women dating advice. To a lot of guys, that is someone that's trying to get with your girlfriend. So a lot of guys come to the shows are like, "Fuck this dude, The Bachelor," and then I go up and I talk just like them, and they're like. And you see their arms just slowly unfold from fuck that guy mode. And you're like, okay, you're in. I get it.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny, man. I love to just sit there and win people over. That's great. This has been fun, Jared. Thank you for coming on. It's great to have somebody filling for Bobby that I actually like for a change.
It's a blast. It's always good to talk to you, Mike. It's great to see both of you guys, and this is always a blast to talk. I mean, I had such a good time on your show the other day.
I want to start. So I had a couple meetings today about possible events and things we could do in the future and what we can get away with and all that. And we definitely are. I usually do a comedy show or a live gig or something, and I want to put something together, and I want to make it up of comics that are like friends of the show. I think that'd be awesome. I'll keep you posted and let you know what's going on.
I would love it. When you guys did the cruise, that is something I want to be involved with. Like, that is one of those things that when cruises come back.
It's a lot of fucking fun, man.
Oh, I never get invited on those things, and I would love to do something like that. That is like, and especially the shows where you get to hang, especially now with like COVID, all that shit. You're just like, when do we, I'm a little bit, I'm craving that ball busting, hang out, dude.
This is the best. This is the best thing is that people will be like, how can you get Bert to still going on those cruises? Because we don't pay any of the comedians to go on the cruise. Sure. It started out where before Bert was really big, I was like, hey, we're doing this cruise. You want to go? He's like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll go on a cruise. And then Ralphie was like, how come you never asked me to go on the cruise? Like, oh, I didn't think you'd go. So then Bert and Ralphie were my two guys. And then I wanted Bobby to go, but he was like, I don't know if I like cruise. But I think Bobby thought he was going to be like a cruise comic if he went, And then the best part about it is it's not the fucking getting drunk. It's not all that. It's the daytime when nothing's going on and we're all sitting in the corner of the boat somewhere just fucking drinking and busting each other's ball. It's the best hang moments ever.
I miss that so much. Just like, and I think, this year, I knew I always loved that. Like I always, like my buddies and I come from, like I got into comedy to ball bust people from on stage. So like, and I don't think I think a lot of comics didn't get into comedy for that. There's a special phylum of comics that really got into it because they love doing that stuff with their friends. And it's just, I genuinely would love to do that. And
I think it would be great. Maybe we'll actually get some hot chicks to go on if we start bringing good-looking comedians on the cruise.
That's right.
All right, where you got any dates coming up or anything?
Dude, I got a stand-up special coming out Tuesday next week, and I want everyone to go watch it. It's going to be on YouTube.
All right, this sounds. I remember to plug it on the other show.
Oh, thank you so much. Tuesday, March 9th at 9, or not March 9th. Tuesday, March 2nd, 9 o'clock. That's the premiere date, and then it's going to be on YouTube. So after Tuesday night, it'll be on YouTube. It's 34 minutes of material about 2020 taped on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's
so I'm
right,
like, I'm the only comic that was, one of the only, I'm sure I'm the only comic that taped a special on New Year's Eve of the worst year of everyone's fucking life. And it's all, again, like I talk about my weight on stage. I talk about trying to lose weight. I talk about dating. I talk about relationships. This isn't any of that. This is all COVID, the social anxieties of COVID. And it's like, I feel a little stressed out. I'm a little nervous about putting it out there because, again, my audience isn't the YouTube I've been watching Joe Rogan clips for 18 hours audience.
Right.
I'm the, my audience is 80-something% women that are scrolling Instagram for memes, which I love them and I like, doing shows for them. So I'm a little nervous that this is going to go on and it's going to get 100 views, but I really do genuinely, I'm proud of the work. I'm proud of I'm proud of doing that one subject that I know is difficult to do. So I'm proud of the feat. So, and it's all about just like that rational context world of like, I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm just someone that's trying to do their job and trying to survive. And I think a lot of people should relate to that. So it's on YouTube, youtube.com/Jared Freid. I'm trying to make it a big thing. So Tuesday, March 2nd, 9 p.m. That's the premiere, and then it'll be out.
All right, good. Well, I wish you the best with it. Thanks, sure buddy. It'll catch on. We'll link it up to our social media and stuff. We'll give it some plugs for you.
Thank you.
Mush, anything else?
We just got to do Bobby's dates real quick.
Fuck Bobby's dates. If he's not going to be here, then I don't know why.
He's in Aruba. If you're on the if you're on the beach in Aruba, you don't get to plug dates. Fuck that.
Yeah, dude. Bobby's going to be in the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, March 4th to the 6th. I think that's the show that I'm going to. Then the 13th, he's going to be.
You're going to go there?
I'm
you gotta
trying.
Hang out with I love that club. I love those people. The Browse are great people.
I don't even know them. I just want to steal some money back from the Indians. The 13th, he'll be down at Point Pleasant and Uncle Vinny's. The 18th and the 19th in Salt Lake City. That's another one I'd like to go to. Wise Guys, 26th and 27th. I believe the one of those days is my anniversary. I won't be there. Albany, or Albany, as I like to say, at the Funny Bone. And then April 2nd and April 3rd at Hilarities in Cleveland, Ohio. You could always go to robertkellylive.com and see his dates. Check out Mush at Mike V. Suarez on Instagram. And thank you for hanging out with us, Jared. Thanks, Mush. Tomorrow, what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. We go at 7 o'clock.
Yep. Voss will be back tomorrow, and maybe another guest as well.
Who?
Maybe another guest as well.
We got something working on? You working on something?
Yeah, working on somebody.
Well, give me a little taste. Give me a little hint.
Oh, well, I mean, I got to see who gets back to me. So.
Oh, I was going to say, like what? All right, you want to throw out the choices, and I'll tell you who sucks and who doesn't.
Shane.
See, I don't think Shane's good without Bobby. Like, no, Shane's great. Don't get me wrong; he's hilarious. But I don't think Shane knows me well enough.
Oh, you said he loved you when you were here in San Antonio.
I love Shane. Let's get Shane on tomorrow. I always felt like I get it. You ever talk to somebody that you kind of like, and I feel like that guy doesn't like me. That's how I felt about Shane.
Yeah, he loves you. He loves
Shane has that energy, but I think he genuinely. I understand what you're talking about, but I'm a big Shane fan too.
No, me too. I think he's great. I mean, he's coming to town soon. I'm looking forward to having one, but I just get that feeling sometimes that he's got me in that Louis J. Gomez fucking I don't like that guy zone. So, all right, who else?
Cannon. You told me to kind of keep it to the regs. So.
Any of the triplets are good. All right, good.
The triplets.
The triplets. Cannon, Tagalo, and Feeney. The triplets.
Yeah, they are the triplets. Yeah.
You knew who you meant before you said the other two names. So
I knew it was. The only one will make it.
Yeah. Or none.
Fight in the morning. Whoever has the most views on their Instagram by the afternoon.
Yeah.
Jared, before we go, list them in least to most funniest, the triplets.
Oh, they're they're all hilarious.
No, that's not true. That's definitely not true.
I will say they're all funny. They're all great.
It's a lie. Mush,
good with any of the triplets.
Yeah, they're all good. But if you had to list them, Mush, from least to funniest.
I'll list them in who can help me the most by going Cannon, Feeney, Tagalo.
See, I think it would go. I think it would go. Feeney, Sagalo, Cannon.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I think Cannon's one of the sharpest, funniest motherfuckers ever. Yeah.
I would disagree. I think they're all so funny. They're all great.
You're lying. In your head, you're like, he's right. I'm pretty much
no, they're all
run into those little fucks.
I'm going on their show next week. So
save it.
No, they're awesome.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go to Instagram.com/Calta and Kelly and fucking like us because it's quite embarrassing that we've been on the show for a fucking year now. And we've got 2,700 followers. It's ridiculous.
I'll post about it. I'll push people over there.
I'm going to put a dick pic up there soon because I know how much Bobby loves those. So, all right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.